Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is becoming somewhat of a beverage mogul these days. He launched a tequila brand, he has ownership stake in a water brand, and now he's launching an energy drink brand called ZOA. The Rock says that it is the first of its kind, clean and healthy energy drink for everyday warriors in all of us. And it could be huge. His tequila brand sure was. They're shipping 400,000 cases their first year, making it the biggest launch in the history of the spirits business. To put that into perspective here, George Clooney sold his tequila company for $1 billion after about 175,000 cases. The Rock's doing 400,000. So we know that he can move product. The question for investors is, what's the investment? It's a private company backed by Juggernaut Capital. The Rock doesn't need any of our money to launch the product. Well, an enterprising member of the Dumb Money Discord group, who goes by the handle of Courage, points to the exclusive deal to distribute the energy drink that they signed with the Molson Coors beverage company. That is a publicly traded stock under the ticker TAP. Today on Dumb Money, we're going to try to decide if we think that it's going to move the needle for the Molson Coors company, and if we are going to invest in The Rock. We are Dumb Money.
Three friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. The quick obligatory reminder that the like button is our only way to tell the almighty algorithm that this video is worth watching. So if you basically have two choices here. You can either smash the like button or like the smash button. We'll take it either way. But Chris, Jordan, and I did make a new graphic for this. Look. Nice, huh?
I love it. Dude, Dave, let's just get this out of the way
Jordan
right
now.
this second, because I don't want to talk about it anymore throughout this episode. We are not financial advisors. Guys, do not trade on the information we're talking about today, because this is just research. This is just us. Someone in our community surfaces. By the way, Dave, you didn't give credit to Register and Jenks, who are contributors to Courage on this high conviction report on the Dumb Money Discord. Dumbmoney.tv is how you can find out what our Discord group is. Guys, there is so much to talk about today because, first of all, while I love the report that Courage put out, unless I'm mistaken, he actually missed, he or she, I don't know, it could be a she, Courage, I don't know, he missed one of the biggest storylines related to Molson Coors. I'm not going to talk about it yet. You got to wait. We'll talk about The Rock first, but there is something that I think potentially is even bigger than The Rock.
And I think that, and to tease it a little bit, we do know that Molson Coors is diversifying out of the beer category into hard seltzers, gourmet sodas, CBD and THC drinks. So this will be their first pure play energy drink,
which is also growing, right?
What's growing?
Craft beers. So they're buying craft beer companies.
They have a ton of beer brands, but they're also getting out of.
They recently bought a Detroit-based craft beer manufacturer also.
Sorry.
What's going on there, Chris?
Sorry, dude. I need to do this.
This is the beauty of a live show.
Okay. Jordan, yeah, you're totally right. They have, the Blue Moon. I mean, they got a lot of stuff, but there's something in particular that I think is so big that's being missed in this story. And when I say being missed, I mean Wall Street too. No one has a clue how big this is, because I read the last earnings transcript, and it was in there a few times, but I was like, whoa. I saw that they were doing this. I forgot about it until reading this report. And dude, I already bought 2,000 shares just as a primer. Just as a primer today, I bought 2,000 shares of Molson Coors. Why don't we start with The Rock, though? Dave,
yes,
you are right. The Rock is a marketing machine, dude. What he did with that tequila company? Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? No,
it's unbelievable. He's I can't think of probably a better person to attach to a product.
Everybody
he has this beverage track record. He's, we just know he's the highest paid actor of all time, or at least for the last few years.
He's like super likable. Everybody likes The Rock.
Well, yeah, he played the Tooth Fairy in a movie.
Let's just put it into, let's just put this into perspective, okay? So, Molson Coors is a $9.6 billion market cap company. Monster Energy is a $48 billion company. Okay, let's just put this into
Yeah.
perspective, okay, guys?
And The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has done $10 billion in box office sales in his career.
Dude,
so he's sold more movie tickets than the entire value of the Molson Coors company. 217 million followers on Instagram, the fourth most popular person on Instagram. He has 5 million YouTube followers, and he barely even makes videos.
By the way, people are talking about, let me just say this. There's so much to talk about. Celsius Holdings, okay, 4.5 billion, and that's like essentially a regional company in the quasi energy drink and like healthy energy drink. And by the way, this is not just an energy drink. What The Rock is doing with this energy drink, it is a healthy energy drink, closer to kind of what Celsius has been putting out there, right?
Yes.
Now,
but we do know that the energy drink sector as a whole is expected to more than double from $9 billion to $19 billion by 2 years from now.
Yes.
And there's no downside for Coors, right? Because if it takes off, they get the distribution, and if it doesn't, they didn't spend $1 like inventing the brand or paying a celebrity, or it's like a perfect deal for them.
It is, and people have been asking for. Let's get back to pure social, like old school social arb. What the channel was all about before, 20 million retail investors got in this market, and we had to start chasing investor behavior as part of our social arb strategy. This is it, guys. This is what social arb is all about. Basically, identifying something that it's not that the market doesn't know this is coming. But I don't think the market fully appreciates how much potential this deal has. Now, can it implode? Can it come out flat? Yes. But do we have any history to make us think that The Rock is not going to pull off this deal? No. The brand looks great, by the way. I love the brand name. I love everything about this. I think it has everything going for it. Not only is it energy, it has the health element.
That's one area where I did have in my pro and con list. The brand to me doesn't scream The Rock, even though apparently the logo on the can is his tattoo. When I was just Googling, trying to do some research, Rockstar Energy and Rocket Fuel came up when I was searching for Rock Energy drink, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he'll pump this on his Instagram, right? I mean, people will know the name. I don't think that would be an issue.
Dave, I think this brand is bad, man. I think it is awesome. I love it. I'm staring at it right now.
So here's the can.
Zero sugar on the. This is the way that they're marketing the natural caffeine. They're basically extracting caffeine from, was it like unbrewed coffee beans?
Yeah, green unroasted coffee and green tea. And they basically, he was trying to make a what do you call it, like a antioxidant kind of drink. He was trying to make a health drink that then they decided, well, let's pump some energy in because energy drinks sell.
Dude, Dave, it has all the elements of everything that's hot right now. If you look at the success of Celsius, you look at where the market is going. Molson Coors has massive distribution. The Rock is the world's best marketer. This is the dream social arb setup. Now, will it work? We don't know yet. But if I have to roll the dice on this, and I look at the risk reward, and I look at the history of this company, and what I want everyone to do today, what I want every single person to do today, is when you get done watching this episode, I want you to read the last earnings transcript for Molson Coors. I preach this over and over and over again. You don't know anything unless you read the earnings transcripts, because what the earnings transcripts will tell you is it will essentially give you a broad gauge of how the company is viewing itself and how investors are viewing the company and what the marginal drivers of earnings and revenue are going forward. And you can kind of see what the market is expecting. And I'm telling you, if you read that earnings report, you'll get a really good sense of where this company sits. And the reason why Molson Coors hasn't taken off this last year is, they have a few brands, particularly in Europe the last quarter. If you look at Peroni and you look at Blue Moon, Europe has been in a complete shutdown in their bars and restaurants, right? So they call those on-premise sales. So on-premise sales for Molson Coors have gotten crushed. okay, have gotten crushed. And so some of the beers like Peroni is an on-premise beer. Blue Moon is what we call an on-premise beer. You get Blue Moon and Peroni when you're out at restaurants and bars. You don't generally get those as much in your house when you're just hanging out in your house drinking Blue Moon and Peroni. So you have to understand the dynamics that are really holding this company back. This is absolutely a recovery trade, minus the ZOA, minus the CBD and THC beverages, the Truss is the name of their CBD and THC beverage brand in Canada. By the way, I think they now have 4 of the top 5 spots in Canada for THC beverage, which is incredible. We know what's happening in the US right now. We're basically moving in a direction where this stuff is going to get completely decriminalized. So there's massive, massive opportunity for these types of beverages. And they are a leader, okay? Now, one thing that everyone also needs to understand, the reason why Molson Coors is as behind in terms of stock price, right? Where the opportunity is they were last to get into the Seltzer game, okay?
Yep.
The Seltzer, they were so slow. They got their butts beat by everybody else.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but the other issue is that they're not very good internationally, right? And so they're more I mean, they are international, but they're not as known as like Budweiser, InBev, or like your favorite Heineken. They're just not. They don't have that international.
But they're priced. They've always been priced appropriately for that, Jordan. And like I think that where all the growth has come the last 2 years, where you've seen companies like Sam Adams completely exploding. And by the way, if you haven't seen our Sam Adams episode from a couple months ago, guys, that stock is killing it right now. Okay, to the Truly launch and the Truly acceleration in 2020. That's where all the crazy acceleration has come in sales for these brands. And Molson Coors, Jordan, has been completely left out of that. But now they're catching up, which is going to lead to what I really want to talk about. But we're going to hold off for just a few more minutes. I want to get this rock conversation fully washed out. Do you agree,
this
guys?
is a 1-year stock chart comparing Sam Adams and Molson Coors.
I love it so much. I love it so much. You know why? All I see there is opportunity. Opportunity lost. And the big question is, do they have the right recipe today for 2021 to narrow that gap with Seltzer and now with energy, which is insane, an area where they can just leapfrog.
They're trying to become a full spectrum, non-alcoholic and just a beverage company, right?
I love it. I absolutely love what this company is doing in 2021. And I gotta say, because I can't hold myself back anymore, the big thing that I'm excited about, and how often do you get a storyline that, one, this is a recovery trade, right? Because all of a sudden, all the on-premise sales are going to go through the roof. And if our roaring 2020s thesis is right, and by the way, when I say roaring 2020s, that is a dumb money term that we have been talking about since March of 2020. Am I wrong, guys?
We talked about this like on day one.
Nobody talked about roaring 2020.
Before there was even recovery trades, we had an episode called the Roaring 20s.
So we have what I think is one of the best recovery trades in this beer and liquor industry, meaning that a lot of their brands are on premise and getting destroyed, especially in Europe, and that will come back. We now have this energy drink, ZOA, that I think has blockbuster potential, serious blockbuster potential, no joke. In fact, the early buzz is incredible. And if you were to just look on Twitter, the amount of enthusiasm for the rock in this drink is just absolutely incredible. But what am I really excited about? Do you remember the company that I tried to invest in on the private market, 6 years ago? I was calling these guys in Mexico, trying to, I couldn't even communicate with them. I was like, guys,
well, you found a local office here near Dallas that was a distributor for this, right?
Yeah, I saw this trend very early on. This brand exploded in Texas, and I own a restaurant. Dave owns a bar. And
I'm looking at the comments to see if anyone has guessed it yet.
this brand was exploding, and we were trying to make an investment in this company on the private market.
Well, it's because you couldn't get the drink, right? So they were sold out. You couldn't get them. You were trying to get them into your restaurant.
A bridge fell in Mexico, and they
congrats.
couldn't distribute it
go
from
ahead.
the mountains of Mexico.
Joey got it right. We're talking
someone
Topo
else mentioned
Chico.
it earlier.
Topo Chico.
Guys, do you have
and
that?
the Topo Hard Seltzer that Molson Coors is going to be distributing as a partnership with the Coca-Cola Company, which bought Topo.
Dave, could you put the image I just texted you a little bit ago? It's just a photo image of the drink, because I think you got to really see it to appreciate it.
It's a good-looking can. I will say something. I will never have a White Claw, but I would 100% get a Topo.
Dude, all right, let me
100%.
Jordan, I'm gonna defer to you in a minute, because I know you totally get this. Guys, let me explain something to you here.
Is that your hand?
Topo Chico is one of the most beloved brands in the state of Texas. This brand is so hot that it has since in the last year and a half started to migrate across the country. But well before that happened, this was like, dude, Topo Chico was everything. If you're in a restaurant or a bar in Texas, a lot of us restaurants actually make our own Topo Chico mixed beverages with the Topo bottle upside down, because anything you stick a Topo bottle in, and they're generally, if for those of you that don't understand Topo Chico, it's just like a seltzer water, but it's extra fizzy,
it's extra carbonated. It's hard to drink. It's so carbonated.
Extra minerally too. I feel like.
Yes.
Like it gets you in the teeth when you're drinking it.
but how strong is the brand, Jordan? How strong is the brand?
It's insane. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're maybe not in the Northeast, maybe not in the West Coast, but if you go to a convenience store, most likely you're going to grab a Topo. You're not grabbing a Perrier. You're not grabbing, any of that stuff. You're grabbing Topo. It's the brand.
Dude, you're getting Topo all day long. Now, You saw that can, Jordan. You saw it, right? Everybody saw it. Dave put it up. Now, you tell me, how hot is that brand going to be? Tell me how hot it's going to be. I mean, come on, dude.
I'm going to have a cooler filled with them here in about 2 months.
Yeah. You know that second refrigerator that's all beverages? That's going to just be a ton of those right by the pool. That's all you need. Done.
I'm
Summertime,
you guys,
I can't wait for you to get here.
Now, here's the crazy thing, though. So I'm talking about the Topo Seltzer that hasn't even launched yet. They have launched a seltzer. They just launched it last summer, barely. Like, they barely scratched the surface, okay? It's called Vizzy. Yep. And you know what? I did some social research on Vizzy, V-I-Z-Z-Y. David, you have another picture of the Vizzy that I sent you. You and Jordan, actually. But Vizzy, people love it. They absolutely love it. It's the latecomer to this game. It's their version, their own branded version of a hard seltzer. And you know what? People are like, dude, this Vizzy rocks. So they actually have what I think might be one of the best reviewed hard seltzers on the market right now, but it only had one flavor. They are about to release that in like 4 or 5 more flavors in a mix pack that I think is going to kill this summer, okay? That's in addition to the Topo seltzer, okay? They also have a lemonade version of their hard seltzer Vizzy that's coming out. So all of a sudden you have a company, Molson Coors, that completely got left out of everything that was on trend for the past 2 years. And now they're like right out in front with, I think, some of the very best brands, the very best marketers. They could, I'm not going to say that they're going to leapfrog Truly and White Claw in 1 year, but do you not think these guys now have the recipe to do some massive catching up in 2021? They want to get 10% of the market. They want 10% of the hard seltzer market. That is their goal. And you know what? They're going to do it. I think they're going to do it.
Well, it's a very crowded market. It's not a great market to just try to invent a brand, but I mean, because you have loyalists to White Claw, you have people who prefer Truly. You now have like everybody has a hard seltzer. Vizzy, yeah, I guess I would try that. Those look like nice cans. I would.
But Dave, people actually love it, and that's the thing. Like Vizzy wouldn't stand a chance if they didn't come in with a product that was actually better. And from what I've seen,
that flavor
people,
looks good.
even with just one flavor out there, people prefer it. So now Molson
and
Coors,
it has vitamin C. So there, I feel like Molson is basically trying to be slightly healthier. Or
well, Dave,
they're at least
here's where they have the advantage.
leaning into that healthiness brand. Even though I'm not so sure how healthy an energy drink is, just because of the caffeine that's in it. But
okay. Well, let's just admit that how healthy it actually is doesn't matter, right? Like we all know that. Here's the thing, guys. You saw what Celsius did, guys. Celsius does not have the distribution, the national and global distribution that Molson Coors has. Okay, so if you look at Molson Coors, they have had the opportunity to look at this market and say, you know what, we screwed up. How can we improve on what's out there? Because what they can do is they can come in with something that's better, something that is even more tailor-made for what people are looking for, meaning something that's healthier and maybe even is a little bit better flavored, which it looks like they have done with Vizzy. I don't know how they can screw up the Topo Seltzer, because people are going to want to love it. Like nobody wants to not love that, right, Jordan? Like they're going to freak out over that. And as soon as that hits the shelves, it's sold out. And I know for a fact that Wall Street does not appreciate the Topo brand. Why? Topo is a Texas-born, obviously Mexican-born brand, but let's call it a Tex-Mex brand that Wall Street, I know, underappreciates because they don't live here. They don't see it the way that we see it. And so I cannot wait to watch this. And I don't mean watch it once a month, guys. This is a social arb trade that our community needs to be watching every single day for the next 4 to 5 months to see how these rollouts go. Because if you start to see some traction, that's when I'm going to really level up into this trade. That's when I'm going to go in big. This could turn into a high conviction trade. I'm saying it right now. It's not high conviction
so right
yet.
now,
It can be.
D's Nuts points out that when you only invest 80K, that's less than 1%, and you're guessing that's not high conviction. Right now, this
Did
is
I
medium.
say no? I was wrong. I invested 200K, so that was like I don't know. It's still right now low conviction, but it's 200K, not 80K. It must have been 5,000 shares. So my bad if I got that wrong.
Yeah, I bought 1,000 shares during the show. I think it's actually lower now than when I bought it. But yeah, I bought a few shares.
Young Investor points out that I just said D's Nuts.
Yeah, you should be saying.
I think this show just needs to turn into memes on TikTok. If people could just repost me saying, those are some nice cans.
God, I'm sorry. I don't try to get on here and like pump and get excited, but this social arb trade legitimately gets me excited for what's possible, okay? A lot of this is in front of us. We know that, right, guys? A lot of this we haven't yet seen yet, but I know the Topo brand. I know the love for the brand. I've seen what people are saying about Vizzy early on when it's barely in the market. I completely believe in the Rock's marketing muscle. I absolutely love the take that they're having on a lot of these drinks, which is giving them a strong health angle, which is exactly what is working with the hottest beverage brand in the world right now, Celsius, okay? So like every single thing that I would be looking for, Molson Coors is doing right now, and my mind's about to explode because we actually have a stock chart, a brand that has been underappreciated because they haven't done a lot of great things the last couple of years. And this could be a massive turning point, which is like the ultimate setup for a social arb trade. Will it happen? We don't know yet, but we need to watch it really closely. Really closely, guys. So
I'll
that's
be watching it for sure.
Oh, by the way, when we're done talking about this, I have an earnings trade I want to talk about next week that Jordan would not allow us to do an episode on today because he thinks
They've got some sales practices that I'm not a huge fan of.
I know. Listen, Jordan, as we all know, I like to think I have a very high ethical standard, but Jordan's ethical standards are like through the roof high that he doesn't even want to talk about things that he thinks have any element that to be negative for society, and I appreciate that. I respect that. We just have a slightly different angle on whether we should invest in those things if we can make
time
money.
out. I caught the tail end of this group text that we
think
were
Dave
on,
even
and I
knows
don't even know what the stock is that what you're talking about.
You're gonna
What's the
find out-
controversy here? I don't even know.
Dave, you'll find out once we're done with this conversation. You will find out the same time that everyone else finds out.
We're talking about it today.
I actually think it's a legit trade, maybe, and it was. We'll talk about it in a minute. Hold on. Earpiece. So what else do we have? What other opinions do we have on Molson Coors? Am I crazy to be this excited about this, or are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Look, they're kind of beaten down. They don't have good margins like Bud. I mean, they're kind of beaten down for a reason. I feel like if this is a bright outlook, I feel like there's some upside here, but everybody kind of already knows where the business is, and so I don't really see that this is going to fall off.
I think I see that.
So it's like,
I
why
see
not
that
just
this
grab
would be-
some?
Yeah, this is
Wait,
this is
wait,
a
George,
great way
you're
for them to
saying-
get into the energy drink world, right? So I can't think of a better way for Coors to get into energy drink than having The Rock pumping their drink, right? It's The Rock's drink. They're just distributing it, right?
But Dave, it's not just that. It's also that this energy drink is positioned in the market alongside with all the right themes of health that we already
Yes.
know are exploding with Celsius. So there's no reason to believe that this wouldn't also have the same impact.
That makes me more just all in on the idea of this Molson Coors company being a company that I would want to invest in, not purely because of The Rock, but because The Rock plays into the bigger picture of them transitioning from just I don't know how long ago they were just the Coors company. Then they were Molson Coors when they, had Molson. And now they're trying to be this all-encompassing beverage brand that has a bunch of, smaller microbrew kind of brands and all sorts of non-alcoholic THC, CBD, they're doing everything. And even though it's kind of a crowded space, they've got, I think, the backing to make this happen, and it makes sense for The Rock. I wish we could have bought some pre-IPO, or not even pre-IPO, but just some private shares of The Rock's company.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. That would be insane. How about
in addition to
debt, which that also kind of drags on them. They're making debt payments. I think they cut their dividend with the entire COVID shutdown. So them bringing that back maybe in 2021 could be an upside also.
Well, how about Jordan? How about the How about the natural lift of on-premise that we know is coming as part of the recovery trade? When all their Blue Moon and their Peroni and all the on-premise sales that are a big part of their business come storming back with the recovery trade. That's
what
like
I'm saying.
a
So
whole nother.
the recovery is definitely going to help them out for sure.
And you layer the Topo segment on top of that, which I think Wall Street completely doesn't understand or appreciate.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have the blue sky of their THC brand coming down from Canada, and they are the leader there, okay? So like that could be monstrously big, right, long term, and that's a blue sky type of product that we just have no idea how big that segment can be. And for them having a leadership position, and let's be honest, I mean, Coors, the Rockies, right? I mean, like they are the right parent company to take that to market. Will we all agree? Like coming out of with the Colorado heritage that they have. So,
well, they've got really good distribution too, right? And so they can get any of these products into any store that they want to get them into.
They can decide how much shelf space it
Right.
gets because they can
shelf space. Those guys in Budweiser can both just tell them how much space they want.
And in addition to Vizzy, which we talked about, they also have Coors Seltzer, which is, it's Bud Seltzer. Everyone's putting their regular brand plus seltzer. And then they have another brand called Spritzen, which is beer with a splash of seltzer. And then they have another brand called Proof Point, which is premium spirit hard seltzers. So they basically have covered the market from beer with a little seltzer to like real liquor with a little seltzer.
As if we didn't need another reason, I got Matthew Mann says, tap to the Blue Moon. Get that trending on Wall Street Bets. That is all. Guys, remember that. Somebody get that going on or reserve that for Wall Street Bets when the time comes. That is actually pretty darn good. Listen, there are just so many accelerators here over the next 3 to 6 months. I cannot wait to watch this. I don't know how big I'll get in this position. I'm keep a close eye on it. I could see myself having a 7-figure position in Molson Coors if I start to see early positive buzz when these are released. Let's talk about the Rock's drink that comes out in March, right, guys? I think it's like March 1st maybe, or just early March.
Sometime
So
in
we'll get
March.
to see.
They say coming soon.
Yeah, we will. No, it's definitely from what I understand, it's definitely supposed to be out in March. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that launch, guys. ZOA, cannot wait.
Yeah, the ticker there, TAP, the tap to the moon.
Yep. Also, guys, how about a 7-figure position on CCIV? Guys, who's saying we don't have a 7-figure position? Did you not see our CCIV episode? It was one of our top EV picks, and we were made fun of for how aggressively positive we were on the CCIV trade by a Tesla guy that obviously didn't understand that it wasn't about the long-term viability of the Lucid Air. It was more about the market's perception of what's possible for Lucid the brand. That's where we were trading. We're social arb traders. He didn't get it. We got it. I'm up, guys, massive mid-figure, 6 figures on that trade already. I have no idea what's going to happen there, but so far so good on CCIV.
Yeah, I'm in CCIV too. Let me see how I'm doing on that.
But I do want to, just for a moment here, talk about...
I'm up 89% on my CCIV.
Yeah, on my initial purchase, I'm up about that, Dave, because I think we bought it around the same time. But then
Yeah.
I bought some extras when it kind of went up. It dipped back down to 20 or 18, and I rebought some more. I doubled down.
Guys, I am up 130 some odd percent on CCIV on a low to mid 6-figure investment. So that has been just absolutely killer. Done way better than I anticipated.
Which, by the way, there is news on CCIV. I read today that they're doing like a set. I don't remember how they phrase it, but they're doing an extra raise, right? So apparently they're expanding the size of the SPAC, from what I can tell.
Which we were saying that would happen.
Basically, they have to do, right? And that's probably the whole. I mean, this is all speculation. We have no idea because this is but purely speculation. I would think that Lucid wants more money, right? Because they realize the value that they've got. And so then they're sending CCIV back to the table and saying, hey, pick up some more dollars and we'll do the deal.
Yeah, and by the way, that's not a great thing for us as investors in CCIV, but it is. I don't think the market. Listen, I don't think the market's going to be rational about CCIV for a while. That's why we're in it.
That's about CCVI. So, like I said, no idea. Apparently I'm wrong.
Okay. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. This is another high conviction report that was in our Discord channel.
I'm not at all prepared for this. Let me go back and find your text from yesterday to see if I have anything I need to show on the screen.
Okay, so at a minimum, I want to give credit to where credit is due. So I'm going to actually pull up, if I can, I'm going to pull up I'm pulling up our Discord so I can see who wrote the report. So the report is, if we did an episode today, if Jordan would have let me do the episode, which I agreed with him, by the way. I didn't want to do an episode on it. It would have been really dark. It would have been trading death. It would have been investing in death. That would have been the title of the episode, which is not an awesome episode for a Friday, right, guys?
So wait,
that's.
Is that why you sent me?
I'm pulling it up, man. I'm pulling it
up. Look,
right now.
It makes sense as an investment. I get it. They're a company just like everybody else trying to make money. I just feel like, and I could be wrong about this, but I've read stories because I've looked at this company before, and you're selling to people that are bereaved, right? And so, you're trying to. Do you want the best for your loved? I mean, it seems like
Jordan. We all know
way to tug at heartstrings. I'm not saying that they do this or not, but it seems like that's something that they could.
Jordan, it's a shady business. We know it, right? Like it is. I'm not endorsing the company, but Options by the Bay was the author of the high conviction report. He called it death and taxes. Gosh, I saw when I was doing my own research on it, I heard someone say something like, your loss is their gain. I mean, just terrible subject matter during COVID. I didn't feel comfortable doing an episode on this, but I do want to talk about it because truthfully, they saw a big bump early last year when the death rate picked up. Now, they are one of the largest funeral home management, funeral companies. They do death services, right? So they sell you caskets. They do the whole thing, the funerals, all of it. Now, one thing that's really interesting is we obviously saw a massive pickup, unprecedented pickup in excess deaths. Starting in the fall, going through the wintertime. So Dave showed a Google Trends graph that was an increase in search of funeral home. And this is really sad, so it's not something we want to talk about in any sort of joyous way. But it's just data, guys. And this is a company that is likely to benefit. One thing that we should be aware of, their earnings, I think, are Monday, is that while they are doing more of these funerals, they actually are making less money per because of the shutdowns. People are not wanting the traditional large funeral services. So if you think about it, this is probably long-term a net negative for them because with how many people died this past year, that will probably and hopefully result in less deaths over the next 3 to 5 years when they would have been getting more of like a full, complete funeral service out of each of those deaths. So I actually don't think this is a huge positive for the company long term. But will they see a pop on earnings on Monday? If I'm not invested in the stock, I might trade it. I'm not sure. But if I were to guess, I think there's more of a likelihood that they're going to see a massive revenue increase this quarter and potentially a pop on earnings on Monday. So it might be worth a trade. I haven't made my own mind up on that yet. But if it's off your radar, if it's ethically okay for you to look at something like this, it's worth looking at. And I think I want to thank Options for the Bay by at least putting the report out. I don't want to talk too much more about it, but guys, listen, more funerals equals more revenue, even though they're making less revenue per funeral. They are selling more caskets. They are selling more services. So if there was ever the perfect setup for a company like SCI, and by the way, the stock is up. It is up, fairly significantly this past year. But I think this has got to be maybe the best quarter in the company's history. This last quarter that they're about to announce on Monday. So the degree to which that is already known by the market, I can't say. And I can't say there's a huge social arbitrage here other than the fact that maybe there's not as many eyeballs on this as maybe there should be, considering it has to be the best quarter in the company's history, right? And a lot of times when we have an anomaly,
people really know about this company, right? It's kind of a weird company because it's not in your face. Like if you go to a funeral home, you don't know that it's an SCI funeral home. Like what they do is they buy these like smaller family funeral homes and then just kind of take them over, but they leave that name in place. So you don't know that you're dealing with a big company, I don't think, when you go in.
Yeah.
This is a list of their brands from their website here.
There is one other publicly traded funeral home company that I know of that is way smaller that has done way better this last year in terms of just seeing an appreciation of equity value. So, man, they're just a funeral home company. Like they own a bunch of funeral homes, right? So it's a very simple trade, I think. The big question is the degree to which management on the earnings call is going to downplay the rest of 2021 due to a contraction with the vaccine take rate increasing, and obviously we're seeing a massive decrease, guys, in positive case numbers globally, right, for the most part, but especially here in the U.S. Where they operate. So I think that is kind of like a net negative. There might be traders in this that sell off the second it pops on earnings, if it does pop on earnings. So there is a lot of risk here. I'm going to watch it. If I don't trade it, I'm at least going to watch it because I'm curious, and I might trade it. If I do trade it, I will tell you this. I am out of this thing probably after hours. I probably won't even buy options. I'll probably buy stock. And if it pops at all during earnings. I don't even know if earnings are
the
after
one,
hours,
sure.
but if it does, I'll sell out after hours. I don't want to hold this thing. I think if traders start trading this, everyone's going to want to get out of this because we know what's coming, which is decreased death rates for many, many quarters, hopefully post-COVID.
Also,
I had the wrong
record
chart.
low
I had a
flu
different
right
SCI.
now.
This is the SCI that we're talking about.
Yeah.
On the NYSE.
Yeah, so they're back up there to where they were pre-pandemic, but you think they'd be higher. So I know a lot of people are asking about NGA. I know people, I had one person email me from the community this week asking me about Lion. There's been some stuff going on with Lion. I am going to spend some time this weekend catching up on both Lion and really all of the EV trucking stocks that we discussed at length a few weeks ago. And I'll report back to you guys next week if there's any changes in my opinion. At the moment, I don't see why there would be. These are not storylines that are going to change day by day, week by week. So as you know, for me, the electrification trade was a long-term trade. I do want to do at least one episode, maybe two next week on electrification, guys. There's two things, at least two, maybe three that I really want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. So we'll discuss that off air. But definitely
NGA for me, I've just got it in my back pocket, right? It's not a huge position, but I've just got it back there so I can keep watching it, keep an eye on it. It just forces me to keep up to date with them, but I'm not, banking my future on NGA. It's just something that I'm holding.
And NGA is one of the ones that I did not buy, but I am in Gig Capital and CCIV.
you're probably in Proterra, Dave, I would imagine.
No, I didn't get that one either.
Is that ACTC?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Dave and I were out on that one because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
It's dropped a little bit, so it's like 24 or something like that right now. So it's maybe this is the time to pick it up. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll look at it.
Guys, Bumble is really disappointing for me. I really wanted to get into Bumble pre-IPO. That was one of the ones I tried really hard. We were making a lot of phone calls. We leveraged every resource we could to try to acquire pre-IPO shares in Bumble this last year. We were unable to because it had a really small cap table, meaning that there weren't a lot of investors in Bumble that we were able to try to acquire stock from. So that was unsuccessful. Of course, everything that I thought would happen with Bumble happened. They IPO'd, they increased their range, they increased it again, and then on top of increasing their range again, they then went ahead and increased the total amount they were raising at that high range. Then they IPO'd at the top of the new high range with the larger than normal raise, and then they pretty much doubled from there. I was like, dude, everything that I thought about Bumble, the world knows about Bumble now. They're actually trading, guys, at a valuation. This is so crazy. They're trading at about the same valuation, I think, that Match was trading at just a year ago with 5 times the users, okay? So like Bumble has to now grow into that expectation that people have built up for them. I love the company. It fits beautifully into my narrative of investing narrative of the decade of female empowerment. We talked about that earlier this last year, remember guys? A lot of our trades are focused on female empowerment and really none other is better than Bumble. I love this brand. Just a killer brand.
Wait, Chris, I spaced out for a second. Did you buy any?
I did not buy any. I didn't do it because I felt like there was no arbitrage opportunity there for me at this point in time. Now, if people start to lose faith in the company for one reason or another, I'll take another look at them. But right now, I am not in Bumble. And guys, just understand something. There's never been a tougher environment in terms of what I need to see in a company to trade it because I'm fully levered. I'm 100% levered on my portfolio, meaning every time I buy a stock, I need to sell a stock. So it's not that I don't like Bumble, not even that I don't like it at these levels. Do I like it more than I like something else, right? And so everything is a trade-off. Every purchase comes with an opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost of purchasing Bumble was me selling something else in my portfolio, and I just couldn't do it yesterday. Couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
I just cheaped out on it because of, I figured if it was trading in the 40s or 50s, I was going to buy it. But I mean, it opened at like 73 and didn't really come off that much, and so I
It's
cheaped
up
out.
again today.
But I'd love to be in it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm not in it either, but I am in Match. Doubled my money in Match.
Nice.
So I'm happy.
You've been a big proponent of Match, Dave. You killed it in Match. I was in Match for a little bit last year. I think I'm out now. Anyway, so that's it.
Do you want to tell people how your saga? Evil Genius was asking about your saga of trying to figure out how to buy Dogecoin. Did you ever get your
Yeah,
Doge?
man. I bought Doge. As I said on the last episode, I bought Doge. Then I went all in on Doge. I mean, all in. I was never going to
All
invest
in.
more than $25,000 in Doge. Okay, so I have a grand. For those of y'all that watch the channel. Oh, by the way, someone said, would you guys please tell us a percentage of your portfolio rather than just a dollar amount, because we don't know what it means when you say you bought $200,000.
So
of
tap
stock.
0.5% for me.
Yeah, for
Less than
me,
0.5%.
yeah, for me, I keep taking money out of my portfolio every couple weeks for making very large private investments that I've been committed to for the past year. So I pulled millions and millions out of my portfolio, but right now it's at 34 million. So I'm trading a $34 million portfolio. So $200,000 to 34 million. I don't know. It's not very much, right? Like it's what, half of 1% or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty small. Now $25,000 is extraordinarily small. So when I talk about Doge, it's even when I'm all in on my Robinhood Doge trade, it's crazy small. And by the way, I think if Doge falls into the background, we're going to see that price start to drop every single day on Doge. So we'll see.
But crypto in general, what is your percentage of portfolio with Bitcoin and?
With all my private investments too?
Well, I would exclude those. I'm talking about just the coins themselves that are sitting in a crypto account, not private investments in mining companies that are influenced by the price of the coins.
If you don't include all the mining companies and the crypto exchanges that I'm invested in, which is considerably large, I'd have to look, Dave. I think it's probably like $2.5 million of crypto, just straight up Bitcoin and Ethereum. About 2.4 million dollars. So that puts me at about, I don't know, was that 8%, 7 or 8% now? But I think if you were to include the crypto exchange investments and the crypto mining investments based on their current market value, I would be closer to about 10% of my portfolio is in the crypto sphere, right? That sector.
You're roughly 7% in direct coins. I'm only 4% in, and wish that I had gone in a little deeper. So I'll probably be upping my crypto holdings.
Yeah,
I'd like to be around 10%.
Yeah, it feels right. It feels right to me, Dave. Like based on the risk factors, and the big risk factor we talked about is always going to be some sort of government regulation. Mm-hmm. And that's just out there, but that's really the big one. Make an episode on FUV. That was like FUV is the three-wheeler electric company with.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Well, that's our young investor is all about that, and he has been about that like for a while now. He must be killing it in that stock. And
I saw he rebalanced his portfolio the other day. He's gone more into Tesla. He's watching today. I saw him in the comments earlier.
I saw that. I will take another look at FUV. It's a personal bias I have against these three-wheelers. I just think
you always tell me not to let my personal biases affect my investment decisions, and now
Dave,
you're in the same boat.
You're
but
right.
No, you have to invest in what you know and what you like.
No, you don't. No, you shouldn't do that. That's the worst thing you can do, Dave. That is the absolute. It's not about you. It's about everybody else. And unless you are representative of everybody, it just doesn't make sense. Think about how many great investments we either made or didn't make that we would personally hate. Like we would personally hate the product. We don't get it. We don't understand it. Maybe it's female oriented. Maybe it's super youth oriented, and we just don't get it. You cannot. The Peter Lynch, as much as I love Peter Lynch, the invest in what you know is a very old school, limited mindset. And I think it was better than nothing if you were investing in the 80s. To invest in what you understand and know. But now that we have social media, now that we have access to data, you no longer are restricted to just investing in what you know. You can invest in what other people are doing, what other people are liking, what other people are seeing. Because, you know, the world is a diverse place, man, and you don't want to limit yourself. So maybe I'm wrong on FUV, and I haven't given it a chance. I haven't really spent much time researching it. I will. Okay, guys, we got another meeting. We have a meeting with our, if you want to, I don't know if you guys are going to do it, but I want to catch up with some of the mods from our Discord community. By the way, Dumb Money Discord, thanks in part to another YouTuber who we love, Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin was really cool. Like, he's been hanging out and promoting our Discord on his channel, and like our Discord has doubled to like 30,000 people. So Meet Kevin, Thank you. Like that guy, where the hell do you find the time? Where does he find the time to do everything he does?
I don't know.
And then also be in our Discord?
I was on his show live, and while I was talking, I was getting alerts that he was tweeting at the same time, and he's like, he was in our Discording, and I mean, I don't know how he does it.
I feel like
I can barely do this once a day and put a video out on Hey There Dave here.
Because we're boomers. I mean, that guy, he's young. I mean, he's awesome.
He is younger, but I feel like at some point there's going to be an intervention that we'll be invited to, a Meet Kevin intervention. Maybe someone from his family is going to call it, and he's just going to have to slow the hell down at some point, because I don't know how it's.
But you've seen his schedule. He wakes up super early and gets started early, and then he's done at like 4 or 5 o'clock, unless there's some breaking news story that he's like on the air 24/7. But
it's inspiring and tiring to watch him at the same time. So listen, as long as he can do it and his wife's okay with it, go for it, man. But it ain't gonna last forever. I can't wait till he finally slows down a little bit. Okay, Crocs. I have no update on Crocs, guys. I'll have to spend some time on that this weekend as well. But I will. I promise. So
and you're right. We, the three of us. I don't know actually. Jordan, are you a millennial or a boomer or a Gen Xer? I'm Gen X.
I'm right on the fence. So it depends on which crappy website you go on to figure out. Like, am I a what? I can go with either one.
I feel like, Dave, isn't Gen X such a nice like boutique generation? Like it's a smaller.
I'm proud to be in Gen X.
Yeah, me too.
I saw a meme where it has like 2 guys fighting or like 3 guys fighting, and they're like boomer, and the boomers in the fight and the millennials in the fight, and then the Gen X guys just like sitting on the side drinking a beer, like watching.
It's so good. I love how nobody talks about us. I absolutely love it. By the way, I'm going to coin the next gen right now. I just did. I'm going to call it after Gen Z, because I'm already tired with Gen Z. Like, they're getting too
Gen
old.
Z's already old. Gen Z's are getting married and having kids now.
No, you're thinking millennials.
Yes.
Gen Z technically is.
Millennials have aged out, and now it's the Gen Zs that are getting married.
All right,
Gen Zs are calling out the millennials for wearing skinny jeans and having side parts. That's how into pop culture I am.
Okay, so Dave, I'm going to call it next gen. Let's just call them. Call them by what they are. They're next gen. It's next gen. That's what it is. But then after Gen Z, it's next gen. I've been saying it for a while now, so let's just see if we can get the world catching on to that.
But then what happens when there's a next gen? Do we just
They're
start
not going to use the stupid
it?
word gen. That's going to be so old school using the word gen. Like, are you kidding me? They're going to have some. They're not going to have. They're going to have a meme language by then. They won't be talking in English, Dave. They'll be talking in some.
Generation Alpha has already been named as the generation that follows Gen Z, and it includes anyone born after 2010. Gen Alpha is still young, but on track to be the most transformative age group ever, according to Business Insider. So there you go.
Fine.
Done. You cannot coin something that already exists.
Oh, Gen A1. That sounds cooler than Gen Alpha. Gen A1, Gen B. I would prefer to be
Something's
called next
generic.
gen.
I don't like the. I don't know. Sounds
All
generic.
right. Lithium. Got it, guys. All right. You found out. Lithium is one of the topics I want to talk about next week. Yes, I've been going all in on lithium. We have some really big trades in lithium. Some stuff that is monstrously big.
Got some trades there. I want to go over the whole gamut of the battery, not just the lithium,
Thank
because
you.
it's not all the lithium. There's
course
other
not.
There's a
stuff
lot
over
of
there, too.
lot of materials that go into these new battery technologies.
Okay, so guys, I have a 280-page report on battery supply chain, basically taking you from mining all the way to battery production. It's 280 pages. I am 60 pages in right now, and I'm going to share it with both of you. Jordan, I challenge you because you have an
I'm
engineering
challenging
mind.
Jordan to read that and give
Can
me
you
a
please
book
read
report
it?
on
'Cause
it.
I
That's
don't understand.
That's a
all
one
of it.
box of wine read for me.
Okay, can you? I'm not kidding, dude. Can
One
you
box
read it
of
this
wine.
weekend? I'm serious.
Like what I'm gonna do.
That's great.
Actually, you have it. You have it. It's that email I forwarded you from our friend. It's one of the 3 attachments
Yeah,
in that
I've got
email.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so if you read that 280-page report, whatever it is, you will be the world's. You have to be in the top 500 people most educated on anything related to electrification, hard metals.
Hey,
the
Chris,
process.
if you can, share that whole report to Discord. I don't know if
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
proprietary or something.
I'll check. I might be able to. Let me check with the person who sent it to me. Guys, this is a big enough arb opportunity that is not like something that happens for a few months. This is like years. This over the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot of this play out. Just a little tease here. For those of y'all that don't really understand electrification, battery tech, heavy metal mining, a lot of the supply chain functions simply don't exist in North America. They're almost exclusively exist in China. So China has the full ecosystem for everywhere from mining to battery production. They have the full ecosystem. There are a lot of different components and a lot of players in that. The thesis here is that we are going to see that replicated in North America over the next decade. We're going to see the full ecosystem get built out, and it's not just about mining lithium, and it's not just about actually assembling batteries. There are a number of steps in between. There are a number of SPACs that we have yet to see that will be coming out over the coming months and I think coming years in this space, and it's really worth getting yourself educated on, because I think electrification is one of the most massive shifts that I've seen in my lifetime, and it's probably something that's worth spending a little time getting yourself educated, so you're not just hopping on SPACs just because everyone's doing it. You really understand what you're investing in, and you can get conviction in what you invest in. So that we'll have a show next week on that coming, guys. Other than that, have a great weekend. I love today's show. I cannot wait to watch The Rock, to watch the Topo hard seltzer launch, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait, dude. I love it.
All right. Well, before you go, make sure that the like button has been smashed. Make sure that you you can't leave a comment until we're off, but if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of this show. Let us know what you want to see in the future. And go to dumbmoney.tv to find all the other places you can follow us, including Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Discord. What else is there? That's
Twitter.
about it. All right. Well,
How about
I said
podcasting?
Twitter.
Do we podcast?
Oh, yes.
Is it podcast?
Well, don't go to our podcast because I'm dreadfully behind schedule on reposting these shows as podcasts. And I was actually wanting to know from the audience, if you watch our podcast or listen to our podcast, would you rather I just go back to the backlog and post them in order, or should I jump to today's show, post that one, and then maybe work my way backwards and try to double up a little bit? Because I have like 12 of them that I have not posted yet.
Okay, we got to get on with our moderators right now, Dave.
Okay. Thanks for watching. We're Dumb Money. We will see you on Monday.